Number 26, Luke Parks. Pommy burst into the team last year. I think the beauty of his situation was we didn't know much about him. He comes into the side. He shows a lot of heart and a lot of fight and a lot of physicality and just the little intangible things that we as fans want to see from players, the way they throw their body around. And it was a pretty pleasant debut season for him, I think. And I think when I look at him in this 2022 preseason, the first thing I've noticed about him is the shoulders and the upper body size. He's definitely filled out and he's put some work into it. I'm still just not sure about where he fits at the moment and where he comes into play. How do you see him?
To quote the great Roy Keane, he's doing his job. And I think that is probably how people get excited by Luke Parks. And I get excited. I like him. I really like the kid. Probably shows where we're at as a football club for 3 years, that we got super excited that a defender did his job and chased a guy smaller than him and run him down. Like, that's his job. Like, literally, you watch a proper team play, they always do it. But, like, for us, that bit of effort was something that we're not used to seeing. And I think that's what he brings. That's what he brings. He brings heart. He brings intensity. And you need these players around the club. Do I think he's ever going to be a world beater? No. Do I think he's ever going to be an A grader? No, I don't. But I do think he's always going to keep that guy above him and the kid coming up honest. And he's a benchmark of what it takes. His output is always the maximum it can be. And I enjoy that from Parksy. I really do that. He's probably the third in line to play that back pocket role, which is where he played. But you wouldn't be shit scared if he was named, because you know he's going to give everything he's got.
Is he someone that could potentially play as like a centre halfback, or is he a third tall defender?
I think he's basically Mr. Brodie Kemp. He's basically that role. That's his strength from his junior years. So I think he'd be looking at that. But I think the problem for Parksy is Kemp, I thought, was brilliant in that role. Then you've also got Plowman. They've talked about McGovern's doing the job now. Unfortunately for Parksy, the standard has got a lot higher. But what I think he brings to the table is his work ethic. I think that's abundantly clear in training. I think it's abundantly clear when he plays that he's got all the opportunities, and I could be wrong, and he could become the Ed Kerno model, that he does have a few glaring issues. His kicking's not so sharp. Sometimes he's a little bit loose in his marking ability, but he is giving 110%. And that is where people forget Ed Kerno is so good. He gets every ounce out of his God-given talent and a bit more. And I think that's what Parksy's got.
I think when we look at the landscape of the AFL and where it's at right now, judging by what we've seen in the AFLW, where COVID protocols, or health and safety protocols, as they label it, are in effect, and all of a sudden the need for the deepness of your list to be ready and available is more paramount. I see games where he would just be called into action. And I think you touched on it just now where you said, if he were to play, I don't have Luke Parks is playing today. I don't have that feeling with him. Do I have a feeling? Do I have like that same confidence for him if you told me he's going to play 20 games this year? Not sure. But if there is a role to be played, a clearly defined role and a clearly defined spot where it's just to do a job, I'm pretty happy with where he's at. And at the same time, there's no reason why he can't get better and really improve this year. None at all. If anything, he's had a really good taste at it in 2021. He's put some size on. He's got another preseason under his belt. He's in the system. I think maybe because I haven't watched him too much, I'm not sure what the ceiling is, and I'm not sure how good he can be.
I think you just fall in love with him, though, don't you? There's something about Parks. I don't know what it is, but just everything, his social media account, the way he carries himself, that beautiful blonde floppy lid he had. There's just something about him, isn't there, that brings out the awe in Uncle Pom. But I do think ceiling-wise, I think he can be good. like, I wouldn't say elite, but I think he can be good, more than serviceable. I think his ceiling, there is a lot worse people who have played AFL football for more than 5 years than Luke Parks. I think for me, what he brings is a standard. And these are the type of guys that are going to keep young players playing for the sake of it. And that is what we want. That's where Carlton have always been in a bad situation. Mark Murphy plays every game because, let's be honest, his worst is better than probably what some of the kids have shown. This is where Parks comes in. He's always going to say, look, I'm third cab off the rank. If you're like a Domaku, similar position, for Domaku to be reckoned with, he's got to beat this guy. And we know Parks is going to give 9 out of 10 in training, 9 out of 10 in games. He's going to maximise the effort. So that's a great benchmark to have for someone that you know is going to be reliable for the young kids, because otherwise you get situations where, oh gosh, Plowman's down. We're going to have to play Domaku day one. Parks is there to stop that happening, and that's what I like. And Parks, like I say, Ed Kerno model, keep that hunger and that learning. You never know. He could become a solid 7 out of 10.
It's interesting. You guys at home, what about Luke Parks? How do you see his development coming this year, and what are you looking for, from him in season 2022? Let us know in the comments below.